Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome into Rain Over Money. This is Kevin Hissong coming to you with episode 28 today. And episode 28 is one I promised for a while, and I finally got around to getting all the numbers together. Episode 28 is how we saved over $20,000 on vacations in 2023. That's right, $20,000 in savings off of retail on vacations in 2023. So as always, I've only got about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. We may go a little over today because a lot of information I want to share here. But I want to dive right into this and walk you through how we did it. Again, first time or just getting used to Rain Over Money, you can follow us on Twitter or Instagram. Signal is at Rain Over Money. Also visit the website, rainovermoney.com. Feel free. You can contact me, shoot me an email, chat, whatever it may be. So welcome aboard. So here we go. Again, I talked about in one of the early episodes how we utilize credit cards as a family. It's something that I transitioned us to early on before, kind of this credit card hacking was a thing. And I don't like that term, but it's using credit cards and using the credit card companies instead of the credit card companies using you. For every one of us that's out there, there are 10,000 others that the credit card companies are making money off of. So we're kind of flipping the script here and using the credit card companies. And here's how we did it. What we utilize is there's four basic credit cards that we utilize. And again, if you remember, I always said one of the most important things when you open a credit card is do not add an authorized user. Do not want to add an authorized user for your significant other. If you have a significant other, they should get their own credit card. That way you can each get the bonuses, you can each earn your own points. And as you're going to find out, they're very easy to switch the points back and forth between you and your significant other. So that's first and foremost and very important if you're going to start to accumulate points and be able to do this. The second thing is to don't always be scared to death of annual fees. There are some of these cards on here. Most of the cards we use have annual fees, and there's a couple that have high annual fees. But I'm going to tell you why that's okay if you're organized. And that's the third piece to this. Sorry, I'm going a little fast today because I want to get all this through. But the third piece is you've got to be organized. You've got to track this. You've got to know the different benefits for your card and when you've used them or how you're going to use those benefits throughout the year. Staying organized, not only for that, so that you can take advantage of your credit cards, but also so that you make sure you're paying your credit cards on time. You're always paying your credit cards off, because remember, those are the golden rules when it comes to utilizing credit cards as part of your overall financial practice and financial plan, versus the credit card companies using you. As soon as you don't start paying your credit cards off, that's when the credit card companies start winning, and those interest rates become exorbitant and go through the roof, and you start paying interest, and it's a snowball effect, and you get into debt and issues. So again, credit cards, double-edged sword, but if you're organized, you can do this. Okay, 2023, here are the final numbers. We spent, and I tracked this as well as I could, we spent in total $10,763. The retail equivalent of what we did on those vacations was $29,525. So we spent almost $11,000 in vacations last year. It would have been $30,000 if we did all this without utilizing credit cards and the points and the benefits that they gave us. So how did we do it? Let's jump into that. First thing is, what credit cards do we use? Credit cards we currently have, both my wife and I both have, are Chase Sapphire Preferred. I really think that's the gold standard for getting started with this. Actually, before I say that, if you want to dip your toes into the water and see if you can do this, I think a smart card to start with is Chase Freedom Flex. There's no annual fee. You can earn some points. You can start to utilize those points and see those points grow through Chase. And you can start to get familiar with the Chase Points Portal or Travel Portal, both for booking your travel and utilizing those points. Because the nice thing about Chase is, whether it's Southwest, Marriott, I mean, there's tons of other partners they have out there that you can easily move your points from Chase to those partners. If it's Southwest and you need some rapid reward points, you can move your points there. If it's Marriott and you need some additional points, you can move your points there. And also, if you're working with your spouse or significant other on this, if you have points and your spouse also has a a Chase credit card, you can transfer points between the two of you. You have to call in to do that, but you can do that and there's no charge to do that. So if you're trying to book something through your wife's account and she needs another 5,000 points and you've got 7,000 points, you can call up Chase, say, hey, I want to transfer 5,000 over. You'll need the credit card number for your spouse, significant other, transfer that over, boom, it's taken care of. No cost. They can then use the points how they see fit to get the rewards they need. So again, Freedom Flex, nice card to start out with, no annual fee. Then once you're comfortable with this, you're used to paying things off, you're seeing how this works. Chase Sapphire Preferred is I think the best one. You get a nice bonus. Right now it's $95 annual fee. You get a 60,000 point Chase bonus. And usually you get the bonus. You'll have to read it before because you should always read these things. Don't just take my word for it. Go out, read it, understand the ins and outs of it. 60,000 bonus points. Usually if you spend about $4,000 in 3 months, you'll get that. Just to give you an idea, our monthly spend on credit cards is somewhere between $7,000 to $12,000. Yeah, it's a lot, but I mean, that's everything. Home renovations. We put as much stuff as we can on. About the only thing we don't put on a credit card is our mortgage. And if I could figure out a way to do that, we would. So there you have an idea. So, if we're doing $7,000 to $12,000, that's about $100,000 in spend per year. And it's pretty much all going on credit cards. And we maximize that by using the different credit cards as we see and need fit. So Chase Sapphire Preferred, first card, baseline card, you're going to get your points. You're going to get lots of bonus points from Chase. You're going to get extra earning points. You can book, if you book a vacation through the Chase portal, you're going to get extra points booking through the Chase portal as well. So something to keep in mind there. And again, I like it because it's a nice baseline place to order to accumulate points, and then you can kind of spit those points out to the different preferred partners if you need points for different things like Marriott or Southwest. And again, I'm using those two because they're my favorite, but there's tons of other options. I think Delta, American, the other hotels, IHG is another hotel group that's a competitor to Marriott that has a lot of good hotels as well. The next card, so we got Chase Sapphire Preferred, Chase Southwest Rapid Rewards Plus. That is a $69 annual fee. I'm going to come back to that one in a minute. The next is Chase Bonvoy Bountiful. Bonvoy is the Marriott rewards program. So anything that's Bonvoy is Marriott. So we use a Southwest card, a Marriott card, the baseline Chase card. And then we also use the Capital One Venture X. I like Capital One Venture X because it's super simple to use the points. It's essentially, you can take your points off. You've accumulated 50,000 points or whatever. If you've spent anything on vacation on your statement, I believe it's over the last 3 months, you can look back. You just simply say, hey, I want to use my points to offset that cost that I spent. It's done. It's taken care of like next day. So that's an easy way to do it. Instead of booking things and taking off the points through the different partners, Capital One's just an easy way to get used to, again, utilizing points to offset travel costs. And there's a lot of other things you can do with Capital One as well, but that's the main reason I use it. And I'm going to tell you again how I did that with each of these options. Going back to the Chase Sapphire Rapid Rewards card, $69 annual fee. It by far pays for that. You get a couple early bird check-ins as well. So if you're getting on a flight, you forget to get your boarding pass or whatever, it's a great option there. 50,000 bonus points. Why that's key is the coup de grace, the grand thing that saved us a lot of this money in 2023 was having the companion pass on Southwest. If you're not familiar with it, companion pass means anywhere you fly, someone can fly with you, and all you essentially pay for is a random tax that costs $11.20 round trip. So I have one companion pass for 2023. My son flew with me everywhere. My wife had companion pass, and our daughter flew with her. So we were only really paying for 2 flights, and we were getting the other 2 flights essentially for free with companion pass. But how do you earn that? Right now, so Southwest continues to make it harder and harder to get the companion pass. Right now, you have to earn 135 points per year. That's calendar year, January to end of December, or you have to do 100 flight segments. The 100 flight segments are extremely hard to get unless you're traveling for work. I'll just say that, very hard to get. Even when I was traveling a lot, I wasn't coming close to that. But the 135,000 points are very doable because the bonus counts towards that. So if you use the Capital One, or I'm sorry, the Chase Sapphire Rapid Rewards Plus card, the 50,000 points, if you spend $4,000 in 3 months, boom, you've got 50,000 points there. Then every dollar that you're putting on that credit card is also earning Rapid Rewards points too, essentially dollar for dollar. But if you book Southwest travel on that card, it's going to be exponentially more points you can earn on that as well. So, the way that breaks down, you've roughly got to earn 85,000 points outside of the bonus. That breaks down to, about $7,000 a month. So it's not easy to do, but if you're like us, you spend $5,000, $6,000 and you book a vacation or something through Southwest, or there's some other options out there as well. If you go out to the Southwest site or the Chase site, it does a nice job of showing you, hey, here's some extra ways to get some bonus points and so on and so forth. Those options are always out there and available. I highly recommend, if you're going to use the Chase card, to go out and spend some time on the website, get familiar with the credit card. Don't just say, oh, I got my Chase card, let's start spending. Understand the nuances of it, because it's only going to make it that much easier to earn the rewards. And it's totally worth it, as I'll show you. And again, the one I mentioned that I'm going back to real quick is the Chase Bonvoy Bountiful card. I don't think we have the Bountiful card. That's the one now. It's a $250 annual fee, but you do get 85,000 bonus points there. A little more expensive, I feel like, to use points on hotels versus the airlines, and a little harder to use the free nights. I think one of the benefits and one of the things you have to get used to, and you'll see again when I go through 2023, is if you're not staying in a downtown area, if you're staying on an outskirt, maybe you've got a night that you're going to fly out in early morning, so you want to stay by the airport. I think the best way to take advantage of Marriott's are the courtyards. They've got so many different options now you can choose from, that if you're going to be staying downtown at the main Marriott's or the Westins or whatever, those are very expensive. But the more and more you stay on the outskirts and maybe some one-offs here and one-offs there, those are great ways to use the points and get a lot of value for your hotels as well, as I'll break down here. So now let's jump into how we did it. Where to start? Let's start with right from the top. What did we do? Where did we travel? For 2023, here's what we did. And, don't laugh. Some of these are outrageous. But the reason some of these are outrageous is because we had the points. So we were able to do these kind of nuanced things. We did an experience for my daughter for her birthday, and we did an experience for my son for his birthday. For my daughter, I was only able to get Taylor Swift tickets in Vegas. So my wife, my daughter, and her friend went out to Vegas for an overnight stay and saw Taylor Swift. That's awesome. That's we don't usually roll that way, but that's just the way it worked out. So for that trip, the total cost, including the tickets, was probably about $2,000. I'm sorry. The total cost was about $3,600 retail. We paid about $2,000. So we saved about $1,500. Where we saved it, they stayed at the Westin Hotel. We used Marriott points there that I think my wife earned through her Bonvoy card when she opened it up. We used it for Westin points there. That was retail $1,000 that we spent $72 to stay for the 2 nights. And then also, again, I mentioned Southwest having the companion pass. If my wife flew out and we took a friend, my daughter also flew free with my wife. So that saved about $600 on airfare. We did pay pretty much retail for the other 2 flights, but that's the thing, you're not going to always get these flights for free. But if you buy the flights on with your Southwest card, and you pay $1,000 for 2 flights or whatever, you're going to get a ton of points because you get extra bonus points for booking Southwest travel with your Southwest card. So keep that in mind. If you have a Southwest card, always use it when you're booking your Southwest flights. Just like if you're booking a Marriott or one of their Marriott properties, make sure you use your Marriott card to get the points, and use it also when you're staying there. Use it at the restaurant there. Anything that's part of Marriott, you'll get bonus points for as well. So keep that in mind. So that was the Taylor Swift concert. We then went out for a winter break back to Vegas because my mother-in-law lives just outside Vegas. Went back out for winter break, the entire family. Airfare this time, we used points. My wife and I used points for our free flights. And again, that's the great thing about the Southwest card is not only are you earning these points trying to get companion pass for the year, but let's say you get those 135,000 points, you've got companion pass, so you're whoever you want to take with you is going to fly free, but you've now accumulated 135,000 points that you can use towards free flights. So in this case, my wife and I both used a free flight, companion pass flight for the kids. The airfare retail, if we would have gone out to Vegas, was $2,800. We're based in Louisville, Kentucky. And I can tell you right now, I just booked flights for coming up here next month back out to Vegas area. Flights are like $600-700 on Southwest. Southwest used to be really cheap. Airfare as a whole used to be cheap. It's not the case anymore. So flights are expensive. So $2,800 retail. We paid $64 for the four of us to fly using Rapid Rewards and Southwest. Again, I had some points this time, so we stayed at the Westin one night. Retail $300. We spent $36. And then here's where the Capital One Venture Card comes into play, or the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. If you've got a situation where you're not staying at a Marriott resort, or you're not utilizing Southwest for your travel, this is where other partners come in handy. Or with the Capital One Venture Card, it's simply just using points to take off your travel. And I think that's what I did here. We stayed at the Red Rock Resort, which is an off-base resort in Vegas. Retail cost was $1,350. It cost us $406 because I used $900 worth of points for my Capital One Venture Card. Again, opened the Venture Card early last year, got the points from the bonus spend and utilized them there. So this is where all the different cards have a purpose and how we use them kind of in sync with each other. So that whole trip, I actually didn't even include restaurants there, because that's one thing that I haven't found a way to save money on is restaurants. Restaurants are restaurants. We try not to eat too fancy, but every now and then it's just part of it. So if anyone's got any tips for the restaurant savings and how to utilize that with credit cards, I'm happy to listen. But taking out restaurants, we spent about $4,500 would have been the retail cost of travel out there and back, and the hotel stays. We spent $500. So we saved over $4,000 on just that 4-day trip out to Vegas. Then the biggest one was spring break in Puerto Rico. This was a trip. We'd never spent much time in Puerto Rico. This is where Marriott came in handy. We used our Marriott points that we earned, both my wife and I combined. So what we did was I booked it. I didn't have enough for all the Marriott points for this stay, but I transferred over from my wife's account, her Marriott points, into my account. You can do it on their website. It's very easy to do. Once you get a Marriott login, you just go into the Bonvoy website and you can set that up. Transfer that over. Week stay at downtown Marriott in San Juan, right on the beach. It was beautiful. The Stellanos Resort, I believe it was. Highly recommend it. We paid literally nothing. And it was $3,500 would have been the retail cost, and we got it for free. Southwest flights, again, we took Southwest down there. That's one reason we went to Puerto Rico. Again, having companion pass in 2023, we wanted to bang out as many domestic travel and areas that Southwest flies so we could take full advantage of it. That's the one thing. You have Southwest companion pass. It's not going to help you really with international flights, but if you're going to the islands, maybe in the Caribbean, it goes to Belize and Mexico and a couple other places, definitely worth taking a look at. Flights, again, retail flights would have been $5,200. We spent $780 with combination of companion pass for the kids and my wife and I using Rapid Rewards points. Everything else was just things that I did track, like dog sitting we had to pay for, amusement fun. We did rent a car. I was able to save about $50 renting a car through a travel credit that we utilized on one of the credit cards. But all in all, the retail cost of that trip would have been $10,600. I don't know how people do it retail. I guess people are doing it retail, but I don't know how people are doing it retail. $10,651. We paid right about $2,000 for the entire trip. Over $8,000 savings for our spring break trip. So that was a fantastic one. Summer, we spent some time. We went out with family out to Reno. Not huge savings here. We had to do VRBO or Airbnb. Haven't found a ton of savings with that, so we paid retail there. But again, we were able to save on the airfare. $2,300 for airfare. We spent $44 to get the family out there. We also stayed a couple nights in Truckee, which is outside of Reno. We used our Marriott points there. Again, perfect example. Truckee, not a big town. We stayed in a nice brand new Spring Hill Suites out there. Cost for that was $775 for 2 nights. Or I'm sorry, $400 for 1 night. That was free. And then we also flew in and out of Reno, and we stayed 2 nights in Reno, spent it would have been $774 retail. We spent $4 in taxes to stay at the Marriott. So again, you can see how all these points add up. The last one, as I mentioned, we did experiences for both our children for their birthday. My son loves Chelsea, the soccer team. They played in the United States. We flew down to Charlotte, just an overnight and back down to Charlotte because I knew it wasn't going to cost much. The flight was very inexpensive. I used my Southwest points. He was companion pass, so he went for free. We stayed at a Marriott that was outside of, just outside of Durham, Raleigh-Durham area there. It was 22,000 points. It would have been $350 retail. It was free. The tickets were the most expensive thing. That cost us $800 for the tickets, but again, wouldn't have changed it for the world. That was the main thing I pretty much spent the experience on. That total trip would have been retail $2,000. We spent $1,000. So again, yeah, we're spending money and probably more money than some people spend on these things. But we're also totally taking advantage of the credit card companies willing to give these bonuses. They want to get new customers all the time. And they're doing these bonuses to do it. Now, I will say the bonus points, the benefits have come down a little bit because more and more people are catching on to this. And I think more and more people are getting better about utilizing the points. But I hope you can just see from this and get an idea that if you start to do this right, if you dip your toes in the water with the Freedom Flex card that's free, maybe also then into the CapitalOne side of things, and then dip your toes into Chase Sapphire Preferred, and you want to do some domestic travel, Rapid Rewards, or Marriott, these things, you can really, really take advantage of the credit card companies if you're doing these right. I think I saved about $700 in travel in 2021, saved about $1,800 in 2022, and then $20,000 in 2023. We've got a Europe trip planned for 2024. I don't think the savings are going to be as great there, again, because we're not using Southwest or Marriott for much of this. So the savings won't be as great, but it was really an outlier in how much we were able to save. And again, take advantage where you can. If you got some things in mind you want to do 1-2 years down the road. And here's what I'll say about the Companion Pass. The last thing I'll say about Companion Pass with Southwest is you want to open the credit card now. You want to open it in January because you want to give yourself as much time as possible to earn those 135,000 points for the year. The cool thing about it, though, is once you earn those points, let's say you had a home renovation, whatever, you put a lot of money on your credit cards, and you earned your 135,000 points in July of this year. The great thing about Companion Pass is as soon as you earn that 135,000 points, you earn Companion Pass immediately. It doesn't kick in really till 2025. So you get an extra 6 months of having Companion Pass. We did that, I think, back in 2021 when we first got it. We ended up earning it in February. So we almost had 2 straight years of Companion Pass for both of us. And believe me, we took advantage of it. So that's just why, if you're thinking about doing this and you're thinking about going for Companion Pass, or you want to accumulate as many points as possible, open the cards in January, get started immediately, have a plan. That's what it all comes down to, is having a plan and being organized. So I've reached my time here. I know that was a lot of information. I talked really fast. I'm going to find a way to put this spreadsheet out on the website. If you're out on Twitter, you got questions or whatever, I'm out on Twitter a lot more this year. Shoot me some notes or ask me some questions. You can always email at kevin@reignovermoney.com. Love to hear other tips and ways people are saving because I'm constantly learning at this as well. But it was a great year in 2023. I wanted to pass on because I know it is very expensive to travel. And it's only going to get more expensive to travel. So, hey, let's take advantage of it where we can and reign over our money. So again, I'm Kevin Hissong. I want to thank you for joining me for episode 28, how we saved $20,000 in travel in 2023. And look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.